Alright guys, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, guys, if you're new to the channel and if you enjoyed this video. So I actually was watching this video by Blue Blood Sports TV, which he titled Anthony Joshua Overlooking Jerome Miller with Deontay Wilder Talk Could Be Dangerous. And I was watching the video, and when it comes to Blood Sports TV, I know I make videos, clowning him, making fun of him, and several other, LDBC channels or LDBC fanboys. I don't even know if he's associated with the LDBC. It's just whenever I see him stream, I see people in his stream, put LDBC, and he shouts out the LDBC. So he's I'm assuming he's affiliated with the LDBC. He definitely knows 78 Sports TV, because I see him on his stream all the time. But I saw this video and I agreed with some of the things he said in this video. On this video, he says that one of the things I do not agree with, though, is he says that could Anthony Joshua be overlooking Jerome Miller because he keeps thinking about Deontay Wilder fight, Deontay Wilder clash. He also said that he believes that people like boxing fans are just overlooking Jerome Miller. Like Jerome Miller is nothing. He's a bum. And because everyone's too focused on the Deontay, because he said that a lot of people, boxing fans, tend to look at the future. And it's true. Boxing fans tend to, think about the future outcomes. Oh, who cares about this fight? We want to see, because the boxing fans just want to see Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. And so they just dismiss, Jerome Big Baby Miller like he's a bum. And they do the same thing with Dominic Brazil. Oh, we just want to see Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. So, Wilder's just going to get past Brazil easily. He's going to be easy work. And that's one thing I do agree with Blue Blood Sports TV is people tend to do that and they tend to overlook. And I do think that people are underestimating Jerome Big Baby Miller. Now, like I told you guys in the past, I am from Brooklyn. I actually come from the same place that Blue Blood Sports TV comes from. I believe he also comes from Brooklyn or definitely New York City, because I always see him shouting out in New York. Jerome Miller's from New York, and if you guys know me, I do support New York fighters. I support guys from Brooklyn. This is how I am, because they come from where I come from. So I want them to do good for themselves, right? So I'm definitely supporting Jerome Miller the same way I support Danny Jacobs. Like, I'm rooting for Danny Jacobs when he fights Canelo Alvarez. I don't think he's gonna win, because I think he's gonna knock out Canelo Alvarez to beat him. But I'm rooting for him. He's from Brooklyn as well. So I'm definitely rooting for Jerome Miller. But like I said, I don't think that he's going to beat Anthony Joshua. But one thing I agree with, and I also don't think that Anthony Joshua is overlooking him. I do think that Anthony Joshua is a professional, and he understands that every fight he fights against is a dangerous opponent. I'm pretty sure he understands this. He's a champion. If you're a champion, you have to understand this, especially when you're fighting in the highest level of boxing. So I don't think he's overlooking somebody like Jerome Miller. But I do think, the one thing I do agree with Blue Blood Sports TV is, I do think that boxing fans are overlooking Jerome Miller. I think that a lot of boxing fans seem to think that Jerome Miller is just this fat, slow, plodding American heavyweight. Now I admit, Jerome Miller is out of shape. At least I would love if he was like 270. I think that's the perfect weight for him. 270, 275. He doesn't need to be walking at 315 pounds. That's crazy. That's gonna slow you down. But I think Jerome Miller is a guy that he thinks the heavier he is, the better it is for him, because he'll be able to impose all that weight on his opponents or against his opponents. So I think that's why he does it. But when it comes to just like, I think that slows you down. Imagine just carrying around 315 pounds in the ring. I would imagine that would slow you down. I like Jerome Miller's style. I think he's a come forward pressure type of fighter who he likes. What he does is he tries to walk his opponent down and he tries to impose his size. Although I'm picking Anthony Joshua, don't come at me and say, oh, you're saying he's going to lose against Jerome Miller. No, I don't think he's going to lose, because I don't think Jerome Miller has the power to have Anthony Joshua respect him. I think that's going to be the difference in this fight. It's not only the skill set, but the power. Because Anthony Joshua is not going to be intimidated by what Jerome Miller is landing on him, he's going to be willing to let his own combinations off. Because the times you see fighters shell up and not let their hands go is if they're in there against a dangerous threat, a guy that if they land on him, could seriously knock them out. But with Jerome Miller, he's not a puncher, so I 100% see Anthony Joshua going in there, letting his hands go, not being afraid of that. What I am curious about in this fight is to see how Jerome Miller reacts to getting hit by Anthony Joshua. If he's able to take Anthony Joshua's punches, that's when I see this as a very interesting fight. If I see him be able to take his punches and just keep marching forward, I see that as a very interesting fight. Because I believe the way to beat Anthony Joshua is to fight him on the inside. I've been saying this is my original channel. I think the way to beat Anthony Joshua is to fight him on the inside. You push him back against the ropes and fight him on the inside. I believe that's the way to beat Anthony Joshua. And the reason I believe this is because I saw Vladimir Klitschko go on the inside against Anthony Joshua and have him fighting up. Because one thing about Anthony Joshua is I don't think he does good fighting going backwards. Like when he's being pushed back, I don't think he does good fighting that way. Like I don't think AJ fights good when he's being pushed back. I think he fights good when he's coming forward. When you see him being dominant, coming forward, throwing a jab, that's when he's at his most potent. But I think when he's being pushed back, that's when you see him very vulnerable. For example, like when he fought Vladimir Klitschko, there was a round where Vladimir Klitschko was the one being aggressive. It was the round where I believe he hurt AJ. And AJ was being pushed back. And AJ was getting lit up by Vladimir Klitschko. And the whole time he was being pushed back. And he was just getting hit and hit and hit. And that was, I remember giving that round to Vladimir Klitschko. I was like, man, AJ can't fight going backwards. So if that's why I'm very curious to see what happens in the second half of this fight, because I believe that if Anthony Joshua is not able to, if Jerome Miller is able to take Anthony Joshua's best punches, and let's say because Jerome Miller is a guy who's gonna be in Anthony Joshua's face the entire 12 rounds. I'm curious to see what happens if Anthony Joshua starts gassing out, because Anthony Joshua has been criticized in the past of being a guy that doesn't have the best endurance. So, although I thought his endurance looked better against Alexander Povetkin and even against Joseph Parker, but these guys weren't, especially Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker wasn't putting the pressure that Jerome Miller's going to put on Anthony Joshua. So he wasn't like draining his energy. But against Jerome Miller, I believe Anthony Joshua is going to be having to let his hands go a lot more to protect himself, because he's going to have Jerome Miller constantly coming after him. So that's probably going to drain him a little bit. So I'm curious to see how he reacts if it's the second half of the fight, if he starts getting tired, because that's when I think Jerome Miller could score the upset or win some rounds, is if it's the second half of the fight and Anthony Joshua is tired and he's up against the ropes. If it's the second half of the fight and you see Anthony Joshua pinned against the ropes, that's when I think he's going to be his most vulnerable for Jerome Miller, because Jerome Miller is going to be going on the inside, throwing body shots and throwing, hooks and everything, and putting his mass 300-pound frame on him. So that's why that's the most intriguing part of this fight, is I want to see if Jerome Miller could take AJ's best punches and if Anthony Joshua is able to keep Jerome Miller off him for 12 rounds without gassing out, without being tired. If he's able to do it, he should beat Jerome Miller. He should beat Jerome Miller by decision. Or, like I said, maybe Jerome Miller can't take AJ's best punches. And if he can't take AJ's best punches, he's going to get KO'd by AJ. Obviously, because he's never been in there against a puncher, who hits as hard as AJ. But, like I said, that's why I'm interested to see how he reacts to AJ's best punches. And that's my biggest curiosity. And like I said, I do think that people are underestimating Jerome Miller. I think he's a good fighter. People act like he's a bum, like he's this unknown bum. He's not an unknown bum. Is he in shape? Absolutely not. Should he be in better shape? Yes, he should be at least 40 pounds lighter. Probably more than that. But he is a good Is he a big puncher? Absolutely not. Is he a guy who's massively known? Absolutely not. But I do think he's a decent fighter. I don't think he's some bum. Like, people act like he's some bum. And I guess they say that just to try and discredit him. But I definitely don't think that. I've never thought that about Jerome Miller. You've never seen me call Jerome Miller a bum. You've never seen me call Jerome Miller names like that. I just clown him. But I've never, like I said, I respect Brooklyn fighters. That's just how it is. But yeah, I do agree with some of the things Blue Blood Sports TV said in this video. Like I said, when it comes to Blue Blood Sports TV, he's one of those type of channels that I watch just to get a laugh at. But there are times where I agree with some of the things he says. Like when it comes to other weight divisions, I just tend to not agree with the things he says about Deontay Wilder, because he comes across as a Deontay Wilder fanboy. But like this video right here, I do think he made some good points in this video. Anyway, guys, stuff to say. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'm out.